Hello my beautiful friends and welcome back to our channel and today's video on what to do when you're feeling stuck in a rut or stuck in a emotion, more specifically for me. So right now I'm going through, over the last sort of week, I'd say I've been stuck in this kind of emotional state that's got me contracted and not feeling like myself, not feeling like I'm able to sort of stand up and step out and act as myself. And so I'd like to take this opportunity to talk through what I'm going through at the moment and how I'm moving through it or allowing it and accepting it so that I can ultimately move on from it. This is not a video where I'm going to tell you to go for a run, go to the gym, meditate, drink some water, because in this case, and I'm sure the case for a lot of you guys, not only have I had that foundation for a great length of time before this, but these are things that I have filled my cups for. I'm doing my minimum or the reasonable amount of exercise that I would generally or reasonably need to allow me to be at my normal baseline. Same with meditation, journaling, getting sunlight or out in the weather in general, connecting with other people, connecting with myself. I'm assuming that you've ticked all those basic human boxes, but you're still stuck. And you might be in a place where you can't quite yet tell the difference between when you need some more of those other cups filled up or when there's something else in your mental, emotional state that needs attending to instead. And I know after the last decade of this work, this is where I'm getting myself stuck at the moment. So I want to talk you through what's happening with me in this kind of raw, working it out process and give you a step-by-step of what you can do with these stuck, seemingly unmovable feelings that you might never have heard before. After you've made sure you've attended to reasonably all of those other basic aspects of what a human needs, and you're left with this feeling, I want to teach you how to actually allow the feeling so that it can move through you. A lot of what I found and what I keep finding myself doing when I go out of consciousness in my days over the last week is that I have this feeling and I'm sort of resisting it, I'm squashing it, I'm shushing it, I'm trying to pretend it's not there or even more forcefully push it down so that I can get on with what I plan to do. And this is the way that a lot of us have been trained up in our human lives, and it's this skill that we've learned to practice of overriding the emotions that we're experiencing so that we can take the behavior that we want to take. And the problem with this is, firstly, the quality of behaviors that you take are never going to be as good as if they're coming from a genuine, good, flowing, energetic desire emotion. But instead, if we're pushing back and working against ourselves, trying to push down the emotion and then just take an action despite that emotion, that natural flow of energy and great decision-making, problem-solving, solution focus doesn't flow into our behaviors. And on the other side of things, the other problem is in the fact that we do get some results. So we expend a lot of energy only to get a portion of the results that we really could create. So it's very taxing if we're very fixed on that same result that we want, but we have to expend so much more energy to get to that result. So while it's been about a week now and I haven't been able to spark myself back into normality, my normal baseline, my normal homeostasis by taking actions and embodying my better self, the person I want to be, now it's time to put that strategy to rest and look at more of the core reasons of what's happening here, my emotional state and the thoughts that are causing it. So to start with attending to this emotional and mental state of being, I've directed more of my daily journaling to a more nurturing, compassionate, curious exploration of what might be happening here. And I have struggled to get down to thoughts that match this emotional state. I made quite a bit of progress when I jumped in a coaching call with my own coach, where I was coached, and they helped me to uncover some more subconscious beliefs that matched up better with this emotional state. And often this is the case. When we have beliefs, sometimes they seem so true to us that they're sort of hidden in plain sight. Because they seem like truths, we can't identify them as thoughts. We can't see that it's something that we're thinking because we just think that we're observing facts in the world. So this is what my coach helped me do. So that was yesterday. And now it's my work to further explore this belief myself and try and separate out what is currently a belief, something that I see as a fact that is causing this feeling, because when I have that thought, it creates this feeling. But as long as I see that thought as a fact, as long as that's a belief that I am attached to, it will continue to create this feeling in my body whenever I give it attention. And in this case, I'm not even giving that thought a lot of direct attention, but it's in my subconscious. It's something that I'm carrying around and sort of just not quite aware of, but it's there enough that it's creating this emotional state. So here's what I need to do now to get more access to that feeling. Because this feeling is so uncomfortable to me, I'm doing a lot of resisting of the feeling. I'm trying to hide from the feeling, distract myself from the feeling, shush the feeling, squash the feeling, and even smother it with false pleasures like Netflix and eating. But as long as I'm resisting that feeling, as long as I'm trying to escape that feeling, I'm not going to be able to sit with the feelings so that I can see those thoughts more clearly and bring those thoughts to the front of my mind so I can really intellectually think about them, reason with them. So what I need to do now is feel the feeling. And there are 4 steps to feeling your feelings that I want to share with you today that you can try. The first thing to do is stop. Try and keep yourself still. I'll often lay down because what I'm trying to do is reduce the other stimuli in my environment so that I can focus in on my body. So stop what you're doing. The second thing is to go into observer mode. What we're doing here is we're scanning our bodies and we're looking to focus in on any sensations that are associated with this emotion. So how are you feeling? What does each part of your body feel like? So when I am scanning my body for this emotion, I like to close my eyes too, because again, it's just reducing the amount of stimuli that's coming in for my brain. I like to put my hand on a part of my body that just feels right and comfortable for me, and it might be the part of your body that feels sort of the biggest in this emotion too. So I'm putting my hands here on my epigastrium because that's where I feel this emotion most intensely or obviously, and it feels deep in my belly. It feels sort of without borders, kind of light and fluffy, this very fine sort of tingling. It's almost got a bit of a swirling to it. It feels dark. I can feel a bit of a tightness in my chest now that I'm scanning a bit more broadly and up and even into the back of my throat here. My thighs feel heavy, a bit stiff. My back feels stiff as well. Like this contracted but sort of moving, swirling state. So they're the kinds of terms or ways that I'd use to describe, observe what's going on in my body. You want to get really curious and be really flexible with your language here, because we haven't really been given much language to describe sensations and emotions in our body. So just let it be whatever feels right. That's step 2, becoming the observer. Part of the magic of step 2 is that you're no longer the person feeling the emotion, but you become someone observing the emotion. So you're no longer so connected with the emotion itself. It puts you automatically into this state of curiosity that although some alarm signals might be going off in your mind that something very bad is happening, what's actually happening in your internal body is, in my case, no more than some swirling, a bit of a dark shade and a tightness and contracting. Nothing necessarily to run away from. Not enough of a reason to change my behaviors or my goals in the world. So step 3 is to give the emotional state a name. And again, this is creating more and more distance and more sort of control over that emotion. So what we're doing here is trying to create a bit more space again from this emotion. Try and de-identify, detach ourselves from the person who's observing the emotion. So here I might say this feeling, this whole emotional state is hopelessness. That's step 3. The other advantage to doing this is all of this work is quite cumulative. So if you can recognize and sum this up for your brain in this nice little compartment like our brain likes to put things in, when you have another experience in the future where you have this hopelessness emotional state, your brain can be like, oh, that's hopelessness. Oh, I remember last time I had hopelessness, I just did this, or I was okay, or I was not okay, whatever. That helps our body learn. And in this case, when we do this process, we're creating a lot of safety, which is often the antidote, or what our body is wanting when we're having any of these uncomfortable, unpleasant feelings. We're craving safety and certainty. So it can create a little bit of a shortcut and help your brain really learn. Finally, step 4. I encourage you to take a big breath in this piece. And what we're doing is reminding your body that you're okay. It's okay. In this emotional state, you're okay. And you can verbalize that if you'd like. And I find it quite helpful. So what I might say is, This is hopelessness. Feeling all these sensations, and I'm okay. This is hopelessness, and I am safe. This is hopelessness, and I am safe. So ultimately, throughout this 4-step process, what we're doing is allowing the emotion and then disempowering it. Taking the power, that compellingness of this discomfort and this fear that comes with this unpleasant emotion away by, ironically, allowing the emotion to just be what it is in our body. And in other cases in my life, in other days, weeks, months, this process is not usually something that I need to repeat again and again and again. But I've noticed at this point I need to keep coming back to it. And part of the reason is, as long as I'm resisting the feeling, the emotion, I'm having difficulty accessing the thought that is causing it, that's activating this emotion in my body. Reminding my body that it's okay to feel this emotion so that I can spend more time in the thoughts that's causing it. Because they're somewhat blocked, pushed down, something that my mind doesn't want me to see for some reason. Not quite available to me, or on the tip of my tongue, or in plain sight. So what this will likely look like for me over the next couple of days is I do this process and I do feel a bit lighter and I get a little bit more access to the thoughts. And every time I notice myself contracting and going back to this emotional state, I will repeat that process again, all the way to the point of lying down so that I can reduce that stimulation and going all the way through to step 4. This is how you feel your emotions. This is how you disempower your emotions. Allow your emotions to disempower them so that your emotions can stop controlling you. I know deep down in the bottom of this, and whatever belief is going on here, it's my brain trying to keep me safe. But the fact is, I want to change. Change means uncertainty, and my brain, my subconscious brain, thinks that that uncertainty is unsafe. So it's a bit of push and pull between me and me. And sometimes you gotta go through this really sticky, hard time and really fight for yourself, fight for your future self, fight for wanting that change against the other part of you that wants things to stay the same. I hope this was so helpful to you guys. I love you all, and I'll see you in my next one.